Welcome to Biztech's Asia's hottest startup show. Now, we're going to be featuring hot startups across the region, sharing their entrepreneurial journeys and sharing with us why they are and just maybe Asia's next tech unicorn. Now, today's guest is Kamarul Muhamed. He's the founder and CEO of Aerodyne Group from Malaysia, which is the second largest drone services company in the world, which operates in 35 countries globally. Now, Kamarul, welcome to the show.
Hey, Brian, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here. My honor and pleasure to be here today.
Now, Kamarul, give us an overview of what Aerodyne does and also your journey so far.
Right, sure. I mean, we are a DT cube company.
What does that mean? I mean, DT cube.
DT cube, DT to the power of 3, right?
Okay.
So the first DT is drone tech. So we provide drone technology. When we provide drone technology, I meant we provide drone as a service to our client, right? So clients do not need to buy their own drone or buy their own drone program, create their own drone program. They outsource their drone requirement to companies like us. So if you to take the parallel to the airline industries, you have drone manufacturer, aircraft manufacturer like Boeing and Airbus. Then you have the airliners like Emirates, Qatar, Singapore Airlines, Malaysia Airlines, and we are the airliners of drone technology, basically, right? So that's the first DT, drone tech. The second DT is data technology, and data technology is actually what we carry. If airliners just now carry passengers, what we do is actually about data, making sense of those data. You know, data that we get from the drones, this data with the analytics and all that, this big data analytics that gives the insight that our clients use to improve their operation. And that brings me to our third DT, which is digital transformation. So clients work with us to provide a disruptive impact into their current operation. So typically they will end up with something that is faster, better, cheaper, and safer than their previous operation. That's in a nutshell what we do. So I'll give you an example. So example are infrastructure owners, power lines, solar, and all that, right? So we save them something between 5 to even 25% of their operational costs, accelerating the process by up to 400%. This is our proven track record so far.
Okay, how? How do you do that?
Right. If you take power line, for example, client will use helicopters, or client will use people on the ground with a crane and do their inspection management and whatever not, right? So we use our drone. When we use our drone, it's 4 times faster compared to the method that they use traditionally, right? And because of the AI that we have on our drone, we can do the analysis a lot faster as well. As a result, we give them their report within 24 hours compared to what they normally get within maybe 1 or 2 weeks after the inspection is done. So that is disruptive. And the system, the software that we provide as well, which is integrating data from the drone, it talks directly to their existing ERP system, whether they use SAP, whether they use Microsoft, or they use whatever system that they use is tightly integrated. So it's like one continuously optimizing system. IR 4.0, that's exactly what it is.
So that's fantastic, but what sort of use, besides the obviously the power transmission industry, what are the sectors in your 35 countries where these are used very extensively?
Sure, right. So we have 4 main pillars of our solution, right? Number 1 is infrastructure. So infrastructure includes the power line, includes the solar, includes wind turbine, include road, highway, bridges. We do ports in the UK, you know. So there are bridges in Japan, kind of thing, and highway and railways. We are looking at railways as well in some countries. So it's basically looking at critical infrastructure that spans thousands of kilometers. So using this automation, it's actually disrupt or improve their operation. So that's pillar number 1, which is the infrastructure. Number 2 is agriculture. And this is something new for Aerodyne. Agriculture is prime for major disruption because traditionally it's not automated. It's very much relying on labor and all that. So this technology that we have can disrupt the industry significantly. You know, and in fact, we plan to hire about 2,000 drone pilots over the next 12 months just for agriculture alone. But hire as not in full time. This is gig economy. You picture Grab, you picture this e-hailing companies. But in the future, you can actually call for these agriculture services through an app, and then we have these gig economy pilots that we train, get them certified, get them to know how to operate safely, and they will be deployed all over the country, to start with in Malaysia, and then we're going to other regions in ASEAN, and we're going to India, Europe, and so on and so forth. All of these are already in motion.
And this really will give a new wind to your business, isn't it? Because
absolutely,
you are in the B2B space now,
right.
That becomes a B2C space,
absolutely.
And you are a platform provider.
Absolutely, that's what we are doing on. That's what we're working on right now. Yeah.
Now, so how big is the addressable market now? You're based on your current business and obviously this new business, which perhaps you're not sure how big this really is.
Yeah, we are expecting about $250 million on agriculture alone in Malaysia within the next 3 years, basically. I mean, that's on agriculture. And that is if we are able to disrupt and achieve only 50% of the market requirement in Malaysia. Back to drone itself. The market size is about $100 million globally. And the biggest component is actually agriculture. Second to it is infra. For us, of course, agriculture is new. But anyway, back to your earlier question, we have 4 pillars. We have agriculture, we have infrastructure. Then the third one is actually, this is deep tech. This is a new thing that we are working on. You see, the drones that are available today are operated by pilots, right? Yes. So you have to go there and operate those drones and get the data and get whatever that you need with your technology, right? But drones of the future will be nested. Drone of the future will be smart. So it's no longer require human input. To take a metaphor, you just think of it like an intelligent flying robot. Yep. You just give it a mission objective and it will go about doing its business. So nobody needs to operate them, and it's actually a swarm intelligence as well. Imagine this, you have a network of all these smart aerial robots communicating to one another, looking after, say, a facility or looking after a highway or a long line. So what we need to do is just giving a mission objective. Okay, look after this security of this area, or look after all of these assets that spans over 500 kilometers, and it will just run by itself. It will just feed to the cloud, feed you the data, and we are already working on this. And our first version is already operational. And we are already deploying this soon to various countries around the world as well. So it's a very exciting time.
So this is your third pillar? This
is my third pillar.
And what's the fourth pillar?
All right, the fourth pillar is actually drone delivery. Okay. Drone delivery is one of the fastest growing vertical as well. Again, this is B2C, right? Imagine this as well right now. If you order anything through your e-commerce platform, from Lazada, whatever, you'll get it within 3 days. If you are in KL, perhaps if you're lucky, you can get it within the same day if you order in the morning, and then they use different services to sell it to you by the afternoon, or at best it's 24 hours. We have a vision to disrupt this, that in the future, you order anything, you will get it at your doorsteps within 15-20 minutes.
Now, that's going to be a challenge though, Kamarul, because you are going to have congestion in the airspace.
Oh, yeah, of course. There are ways to manage it. I mean, nobody says it's easy. You want to do something.
But you got to break something and then you kind of push the envelope.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to think big. And we do believe that this is going to be game changer.
I want to bring you back to your third pillar, because that marks a shift away from you being an integrator to a creator. Yeah. So particularly in researching this interview, I stumbled upon a US military test just a few days ago, which basically did a proof of concept on swarm attacks. And everything you said, it's really for the average audience who doesn't realize this is all already real. Yeah. The military applications are tremendous.
Absolutely, it's the next big thing. And we want a piece of this.
But are you also then moving into another sector, because it seems very obvious, which is a hole in your service offerings, which is the military?
No, we don't. Military is something that we made a conscious decision not to get involved on, especially if it involves taking another human's life. Okay. So that's just our philosophy. But defense is different. If it is defense, yes, we are involved in defense. Yeah. But if it is something that involves a weaponized drone, that's a total no-no to our raison d'etre. It's our vision, for our reason for being. So we will not venture into that side.
So Kamarul, who do you consider, you're the number 2 drone maker in the world. Who do you consider your key competitors? What makes you special? And how have you been, and when I say what makes you special is you've grown so quickly in the last 6 years. You must be doing something right. What is the secret sauce that makes you special?
I think it's all about delivering. It's all about being able to make an impact. Talk is cheap. You know, a lot of people talk, a lot of people provide components of what we do. I mean, there are a bunch of companies that do something similar to what we are doing right now as well. But the key value is actually to be able to provide solutions that make sense for our client. Solutions that are really, really disruptive for them. Again, our mantra is that faster, better, cheaper, safer. You know, if we don't deliver all 4, we walk away. Typically, you have to make a compromise. You know, you have -1 or 2 in order to get the other. So we use technology, we use brain power, we use innovation to be able to say no to this old common thinking that you cannot have all 3 or you cannot have all 4. You have to sacrifice one. We believe it can be done by use of technology and innovation, and that's exactly what we deliver.
So Kamarul, and ask you something slightly differently. What have been the key challenges that you have encountered as you've grown this company from a small company in Malaysia?
Sure. I've been called crazy way too many times for having this big plan, this big vision, and it's totally understandable because it's an incredibly hard thing to do. We do face challenges along the way constantly. Challenge with talents, being a Malaysian company, we have faced challenge with talent. We also and then of course we are doing deep tech. We are doing innovation. So we need top talent as well, right? So we have constraint with having the right talent. So that's why it pushes us to be a global company. So now we source our talent globally as well. So number 1 is that talent, not just in providing or developing the technology, but even in servicing our global client. Because globally, you operate differently than when you are in Malaysia or even in Asia, for example. The accuracy of the Japanese and the Germans, right? The Americans operate differently. The Europeans operate differently. The South American operate differently. The Middle Eastern have their own quirks and their own requirements as well. So being able to adapt to these global requirements, changing global requirements and the various idiosyncrasies has been important for us as well to solve that. And I'm quite.
How have you overcome that? Because human capital wise, the limiter was Malaysian talent, but obviously you've internationalized your team.
Absolutely.
How have you done that? Obviously acquisitions was one way of doing that. Have you also then internationalized your team in Malaysia?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in fact, we do this in 2 prongs. Number 1, we build a strong local team here. And to be honest, it's not for everyone. In year 1, year 2, the first 2 years, we are Malaysian. So at that time, it was like, it was a perfect timing. At that time, it was like, oh yeah, this is like a brilliant. Everyone was like enjoying and all that. And it was easy for us to deliver. The moment we we started our global aspiration, and that was in 2017. Then we realized, of course, the management, we realized this, but then it was a cultural shock to the team as well. When you talk about global requirements, the accuracy, the expectations and all that is just like different, right? And I'm glad we did that, because that was the shift towards being able to provide a global competitiveness. So we took a lot of effort building the team internally, full focus in developing the team, not just in terms of technical, in terms of cultural requirements and all that. And we do this not just by that, but we also do this through acqui-hire. So a lot of companies that we acquire before this also come with the leadership as well. So we were lacking in leaderships. We do not have enough leaders around the world. So when we acquire the company, we also acquire the leadership from all of these companies too. Now we're at our 3rd phase of expansion. Now we are also doing some of these R&D work on a global scale, not just limited to Malaysia alone.
Okay, and so that's a key way you got around it, the acqui-hire, which is a very well proven model, especially with the Silicon Valley companies. It's acqui-hire.
Yeah, I mean, it works well for us. It works well for us, yeah.
Now,
in
tell us
my,
about your acquisition. Sorry, go ahead, Kamarul. You were
yeah,
saying?
in my global leadership team, I mean, as the group CEO, I manage 40 people. These 40 people manage the 400 odd people throughout the world. So out of these 40, 10 of them are my global CEOs around the world, which comes from either our JVs, our partnership, or our acqui-hire. So these guys have been pivotal as well for our global growth.
You know, one of the, and you hit the nail on the head, one of the key things as part of my research for this interview, I realized with the fact that your expansion was fueled by a combination of organic growth, just aggressive expansion, but also quite a number of acquisitions. Could you kind of walk us through some of those acquisitions and what you potentially have in the pipeline?
Right, sure. I mean, for us, we have a global aspiration, right? So when you want to go to any market, you need to have strong local contents. Of course, there are some countries where you can enter directly, and we have as well. But if you want to enter Europe, you want to enter America, you want to enter Latin America, or even Middle East, Japan, China, and all that, you need to have strong local partner. And our focus has always been to find that strong local partner to carry our brand, to carry our solution, right? In the beginning, of course, it was a bit difficult because we were unknown then, but today people come to us to partner us, actually, to be honest. And for every one that happened, we probably turn down 10 to 15 that does not fit our culture, or there was some incompatibility that we sense. So yeah, so we look for market access. We look for key market that we wanted to do. We are now focusing a lot in EU as well. Our next focus is in Africa. We have very strong presence already in some of the future biggest market. We have strong presence in India. We have strong presence in Indonesia as well. These are the top future market. We acquired a company in America a year and a half ago as well.
That was Measure UAS, is it?
Yes, correct. So
you have a 60% stake in that?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and that was basically market access?
Market access, yeah. I mean, we realized, in fact, before we did that, we have actually entered America directly, and we sensed how difficult it was to break into it. And now not only just doing in America itself, we are doing in Canada, we are doing in Mexico as well through that office. So it's ramping up nicely. Of course, for COVID sort of foiled the plan a little bit, but generally things are happening around the world.
Now, Kamarul, you've made this amazing journey from a little company in Malaysia to a global company now with a presence in 35 countries. But fortunately, you had support from the ecosystem within Malaysia itself, which identified you as a potential global champion and then backed you. Could you kind of give us some insight into how you were helped along your journey?
Right, sure. In the beginning, we make a stand to basically prove ourselves first before we seek any help. In fact, I don't believe in grant. We have never taken a single grant from any government agency, even until today, right? So all that we had was something that we built from scratch, from zero. But once you started to grow bigger and bigger, you gain that recognition, and you need that you want to keep that momentum and bring you to the next level, right? So we then the government, or through the various agencies, started to notice us. MDAC was the first to notice us, and they help a lot in terms of our visibility. So that actually brings us to the next level. Subsequent to that, we now also work with various other agencies. We work very closely with MOSTI right now, Ministry of Science and Technology, through their various agencies like MAGIC, like Technology Park as well, and even MTDC as well.
And MOSTI is also a shareholder through their venture arm in Aerodyne, right?
One of, yes, they also have a stake in Aerodyne too. Yeah. So having all of these, I would say, a strategic move, and Malaysia also wants, one of our vision, one of our aspiration is to actually to do something that has never been done before. And that is actually to produce a technology company from Malaysia that is also a net exporter, that we are exporting technology out of Malaysia. That has been our we are very purpose driven in this objective. You know, we want to prove that Malaysia is not known as a tech exporter, as let alone a technology tech exporter. We believe it can be done. It is a difficult process considering the past. I mean, things are changing now. And the government now see what we are doing, and they are very supportive of this, and we are very thankful for that. You know, if you were to look at, for example, the big giant in China, they all became big because of the support from the government.
Correct. It's got to start from there.
Yeah, you have to work with the government, and even in Malaysia, the government is the largest spender, right? Even today, as we speak now, Aerodyne still do not have a single contract from the government. I mean, that's just a very interesting irony. You know, we don't, because that actually is testimony of our capability that we can.
Correct. You've gone global without the help of the government. Yeah. I mean, of course, within the ecosystem you have been, but not through a direct contract.
Exactly. But right now, we are very happy. We are working with all the various agencies. We want to build a strong drone ecosystem in Malaysia. Magic is championing this. We are working with all of them, basically. We are working with all the various agencies in Malaysia to actually make Malaysia perhaps one of the key producer of drone technology globally. So that's actually one of my other vision as well. So we are working with the ecosystem in Malaysia, bringing up other drone companies so that we can all work together and add value to one another, and so that there can be more of Aerodyne coming out from Malaysia as well.
Now, so Kamarul, let's get down to the brass tacks.
Yeah.
What sort of dollars and cents do you make right now?
Well, I mean, our pipeline, I would say, right now, the project that we are working on is about $250 million. I think another equal amount is coming as well, so that's about $500 million right now in the books, in the pipeline, basically.
Okay, and are you profitable right now?
Sorry? Oh yeah, we've been profitable from day one. Actually, I mean that's how we've been able to grow without any injections.
I see. So that's very unusual in the tech space. But what sort of turnover and profits do you do last year?
But right now we are changing the strategy. We are now actually basically swapping profit for growth. Okay. We are now focusing on a faster growth rate as well. So as a result, we are a lot more aggressive right now. We are going for market share, so that's actually what we are working on right now.
Yeah, which is why you've taken 2 rounds of up to $33 million US, and I understand that you are closing another round of funding as well. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, sure. We have closed 2 rounds of funding. We are closing another round, another strategic round as well. Remember, I mentioned to you about our agriculture vertical. I mean, yes. Agriculture pillars. So we have a bunch of investors from Japan in this space as well, in agriculture. Okay. And in deep tech, and they were attracted with what we are doing, and they are asking whether they can come in. So, you know, we like this strategic positioning. So that's.
So how much are they investing, and who are these Japanese investors?
It's actually led by a real tech fund. Which is already, I mean, within the same group that have already invested in our Series B as well. And then one of it is also Kobashi. Kobashi is actually one of the largest
conglomerates in Japan. Yes.
Yeah, right. And they are one of the largest agriculture manufacturers as well. You know? So that's them. And the third one is also a listed drone company in Japan. So that's actually a very strategic.
They're all very strategic investors. How much money are they putting into the company? Is this via a separate entity, or is that a whole?
They come into the group. It's not big. I mean, like I said, we do not need the money at the moment. We will raise a significant amount at our Series C. That's perhaps going to happen between 12 to 18 months from now. This is just a small round. It's basically just to seal this strategic collaboration between us.
And this, what sort of runway will this give you?
We still have another 2 years of runway, even before this investment. So this investment is really not about raising fund for our operation. It's sealing this strategic relationship. Yeah.
So obviously this is, as you said, strategic investment. So there's no pressure in terms of exit strategy. But what is your strategy in terms of Aerodyne moving forward?
Right, sure. I mean, for our investors, we have a very clearly defined exit strategy for them, right? They are all exiting around 4 years from now at our IPO stage. Or, I mean, if we IPO earlier, then that's fine.
Okay. So that's basically the timeline that you're looking at. You're looking at an IPO. Kamarul, one of the key things that will happen is there is a lot of money sloshing around.
Yeah.
There are a lot of specs with money. Is that going to be an option? Because here's what's going to happen. The clock ticks over 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
In about a year and a half from now, a lot of specs will be looking for deals.
Yes, that's right.
Will you be tempted, perhaps?
Sure, we're not ruling out option, right? Even right now, we already have offers, right? But we are not in a rush. To us, I would say that we are at mid-life of our up to IPO time.
Okay.
Right? There's still a lot of growth that we want to achieve. There's still a lot of countries that we want to bring to level of maturity. And all of these in our timeline will happen within the next 2.5 years. So it's a very, very exciting time. We are all psyched up. You know, the engine of Aerodyne is like working 24/7, 365. You know,
yeah.
So it's a very, very exciting time.
And Kamarul, I'm gonna ask you, what was the valuation that you were given in this current round?
Right. Well, let me put it this way. In our next round, it will be about 500 million.
US.
US, yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so halfway to unicorn, and your next round will probably be within the next 12 months?
Within the next 12 months, yeah. Within the next 12 months, yeah. And in fact, I think we should be able to get there before our IPO.
Okay.
Yeah.
And final question, Kamarul. What are the key lessons that you learned in building Aerodyne from a little company in Malaysia, self-funded, having a lot of fun for the first 2 years, as you said, to now really this globally aggressive company, 35 countries, and shooting towards an IPO? What are those lessons that you could share with not only other Malaysian entrepreneurs, but really entrepreneurs globally?
Yeah, I think number one is that you must have that clarity of vision. You must know what you want, right? Because an entrepreneur journey is incredibly hard. I mean, it's like constant problem solving. I mean, if you don't have that vision, that fire in you, you're just going to give up, right? So number one, you must have that passion, that clarity that you wanted, where you want to go, what you wanted to do, and all that. And number two, once you have that, you must have right-minded person to be around you. And that is actually a process that will not happen overnight too. There will be trial and error. There will be people that come in at the beginning, but that their vision is not the same. You have to build this over time. So it took us about the first 3 years to build this team. Now we have a very strong lineup, people who believe in our cause, people who believe in our vision. And of course, again, the reason behind this is that, there was just so many things that you need to do, and there's just so much challenge, and you will face these roadblocks, and you have to constantly solve them one after another. So that's challenge number one. And then I think number two, the lesson learned is that, it's a highly competitive market out there. It's a dog-eat-dog environment, loyalty is gone kind of thing, so you must have your edge. So in our case, we have this relentless pursuit to perfection. So my staff told me, you are like Steve Jobs. You keep pushing. We do something, you still view. You go into a very little detail. But to me, I do less of that now. But when I had to do that in the beginning, it's actually about giving my team the culture of perfection. Yes. So I give them a quote all the time. Jojo Armani says that to do anything exceptional, your mind have to be relentlessly focused on the smallest of details. And that's exactly what we do as well.
Kamarul, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
My pleasure talking to you too, Brian.
Now, we've been speaking to Kamarul A Muhamed, founder and CEO of Aerodyne Group, on Biztech, Asia's hottest startup show. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video will be on our Facebook and LinkedIn sites, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please subscribe and like our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.